All right, Daniela, you were just bringing up some really great things as a business coach who's bringing on new coaches and helping them create their story. And you've been talking about how different coaches have completely different stories. I mean, one person might have a weight loss story. Another person doesn't have any weight loss story. They've always been kind of fit and healthy. People would not relate to that aspect of the story. So you were just mentioning and saying that I think that this particular person, his story is going to be more of a purpose and a goal and a desire to help people move forward. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were asking me some questions about how do you help that, and what are the questions you can ask, and what changes about creating that story that might be different than when somebody's creating a weight loss story. It seems like creating a weight loss story seems very logical on how you would create that. They were out of shape before, deconditioned, they found Take Shape for Life in their coach. They made this total change. It was simplified their life, and now they're feeling great energy. But with a person who doesn't have that weight loss story, how do you help them find that voice when it's nothing to do with weight? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before I go into how to work with that?
No, I don't think so. I just I think that this individual has a lot of energy, but doesn't necessarily convey that. And so trying to help him do that too, to have that spark in his voice Kim Fisk talks about that
Absolutely.
kind of makes other people want to listen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right on. And I think that when you really, really work this through a principle level, there are a few key components to stories that attract people to that story, that help people have personal breakthrough in somebody's story and to want to take action, right? And if we can uncover what those are, it doesn't matter if it's a purpose story, a weight loss story, a financial success story, tragedy to triumph story, is you're going to find that there's a few basic components, all right? And I'm going to tell you that the basic framework of a story is the struggle. People want to know that you hurt, there's conflict, that there was struggle, and you had like this ultimate contrast between what you desired life to be like, but what was happening. And as much as you were trying to achieve this, it wasn't happening until. And then they want that transition. They want that things like, the sun started coming out and you found like the discovery. Then I discovered, and what I found was, and that's like the treasure, like, there it is, dun, da, da, da. And now, the way life has changed and how many people's lives are being affected, and we're winning, the victory. People want that victory on the other side. And what that does is it instills hope in them. They connected to struggle. They're there. The story was really not about you at all, even though it's my story. It's about them relating to it. And now they're going, maybe there's hope. Maybe this could work too. And and for the coach takes it to another level. And then they say purpose. They go into, and that's why I've now decided to partner with this organization to help other people feel this way and to achieve these things. And I'm so excited about being able to do it. And that's basically connects people to say, oh my goodness, now I get your purpose. And then the invite. The invite is to say, would you like, so what about you? What are you looking for? And would you like to join? And after they've had a chance to flesh that out, would you like to join? But that's a different part. The story leads up to you being able to get the permission to invite and to explore their why. So we're going to leave it at just the story part. Now, before we move on to literally the key to telling your story, I've just told you how the sequence needs to go to get into that heart. Do you have any questions about the basic sequence?
So yes, the change part, for somebody that doesn't have a personal weight loss story and maybe hasn't really discovered a change within Take Shape for Life itself, and is just kind of stepping into, I know he's going to discover that, right? Once he helps a couple people, he's going to be like, oh my gosh, I found it. This is awesome, right? But right now, he doesn't have that element. So,
and I hear what your brain's doing. Your brain is still comparing this to the weight loss versus that. But I think once you see where I'm going to show you how he does have a story, he
Okay.
completely has a story.
Okay.
And because everybody has felt pain and frustration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has had some kind of transition in their life, and he's discovering. And so one of the thing about his story, and you're going to find this, is his story is about the hope and health of creating that. And now I have a vehicle that I can do that with. I have proven partners that have been, and he can talk about other people. And when you don't have your own story, your story is everybody else's story. Your story is the hope of what you've seen, and it's your why for why you're doing this. Something transformational has to happen here first before it can happen here second. Something transformational has to happen here first before it can happen here financially second, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really matters. People, even though you may not have all of the healthy people yet, and you may not have all the financial accolades yet, or all the healthy body yet, people will buy into the hope as long as it makes sense that you can relate to their struggle, that you've made a breakthrough, and now you are moving forward to deliver on this. I'm on this journey. Do you want to go with me? And it's kind of like this. I'll just give you a summary of this. Let's say that I've never been to Greece, because I haven't. Have you been there?
No.
All right. So neither one of us have been there. Now, I'm just out of curiosity, just because I want to make the story somewhat relevant. Would you like to go to Greece someday?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, good. That'll make it better, because if you absolutely hated it and you didn't want anything to do with it, then there might not be a connection. But now, do I have had to have gone to Greece to be excited about it?
No.
Physically? No. And do I have had to gone to Greece to convince you that you might want to go with me?
No.
No. And it's the same thing. All I have to do is have the breakthrough that I figured out how to get there, and I'm going. Do you want to go? You see?
Okay.
And that's the thing, is the story's first, and I'm going to give you it now. It's just, there's no mystery. I'm actually going to tell you how to create the story tangibly, so it's not just this philosophical conversation. But I just wanted you to get the principle that in the limbic part of our brain, the emotional part of our brain, people do not need this particular coach to have lost a lot of weight, and they don't need this coach to have had a ton of clients succeeding, and they don't need this coach to have had a lot of financial success to buy into his purpose, because he's had the breakthrough. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't you have another question or comment before I go into the tangibles?
Well, the tangible may help, but what I am hearing, and help me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing the struggle, I'm hearing the discovery, and I'm hearing the now. The part that I'm not hearing is the change.
Yes. And so that's what we're going to get into. And one of the key things here is, notice there's a key element to this conversation we're having right now, which literally is the fire, the spark, the catalyst that allows all of this story to really matter. And you can hear it in my tone, and that's my energy and my passion, right? And there's no question about it. I'm engaged in this conversation because this is heartfelt. This is a heartfelt conversation. I mean, I truly believe in having this conversation for what it's going to produce. And I obviously have some depth of conviction from seeing how telling stories has changed other people's life. But for everybody who's listening to this, is you have to, they don't have to do anything, but if you want to help people really get healthy and have transformation and breakthrough, they've got to know that you're excited about what's happening, and they've got to know that you're feeling it. And it's less about the logic of what you're saying, and it's more about how you make people feel. Does that make sense? Because they're not going to really remember your whole story. They're not. And they're not really going to care about your story. What they are going to know is how you made them. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And if you can remember that, bring your tears, bring your joy, bring your compassion, bring your passion to that conversation. And if you're not a natural person at that, that's okay. You basically work on empathizing with the other person that's in front of you. And I'm not talking about be over the top zealous, over the top, dramatic, but I'm talking about share some tonal changes, share some of the emote a little bit, and you'll find that the more you tell your story, the more you get connected to empathize with how you felt at that time of frustration and how much excitement you had at the time of finding this discovery and how excited you were about potentially going to Greece or helping another person get healthy or being financially free. if they can hear that, they're going to say, I want that too, even though you're not there yet. We're not in Greece yet. We're not 50 pounds down yet. You don't have a 50 clients underneath your belt. They want to be one of them because they believe in the dream. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's like this. People don't elect the president because of everything he's done. They elect the president because of where he says he's going. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. People are not going to hire the coach or join the coach or partner with the coach because of all the people he's helped. They're going to partner with him because of the vision that he has and how he wants to help them do it, right? And as long as he's had success in other areas where he's been able to do that, he'll be able to confidently convey that. And this particular coach we're talking about, all of us have had success in some other area of our life. And if we haven't, then you'll find that coaches who haven't had success in other areas, it's really tough for them to go here, right? Because they don't have anything to compare victory to or struggling and overcoming, okay? And that's the first half of this conversation that is so powerful, is understanding that your story is about relating to the human element of, I had a desire, but then I struggled and I was not attainable. But then I started seeking and I decided to go ahead and find and look, and I found this partnership where it found me, whichever one of those is true. And I started looking into it. And what I found was people were getting healthy. And this was happening. And it was actually a real way to help people move forward. And now I'm doing something about it. I'm partnering and I'm moving people forward. And I'm so excited now to be able to support my friends, my family, and the people I care about. So what is it you're looking for? And you see, now I've just handed the torch off to them to be able to share. And none of that was about my own personal, I'm now 50 pounds down and I've helped 50 people and I've made $1 million doing this, right? It's
yeah. So his real change, I think I was making it more complicated than what it really is. So his struggle is working with people doing great things in terms of fitness, but not always able to help them achieve what they ultimately want to achieve. His discovery is that there is now a vehicle that he can use to go hand in hand with what he already does to create some real change and some real support for people. And his personal change in this really is his mindset. Right now he can use this vehicle coupled with what he's doing, and so it's his decision to do that. That's the change, right?
And he's very excited about all of that on the other side of it. In the first part, he basically has hope, but really frustrated that he wasn't able to help people. You know, I'd start him, I'd give him some plan and strategy, and I just felt like there's so many conflicting diets. What do I send people? I've got nothing to really help them. So I'm going to find something, and who's making this work? And I discovered, and then I found the right, just like you said, and now I'm really excited because finally there's something that's proven. It's working, and people are getting healthy. You know, people are losing the weight, but more importantly, they're keeping it off, and I'm a part of that, and I'm excited to be a part of that. You know, what is it you're looking for? Exactly. Okay. Did I capture back what you said?
Yes, yes. So it was that funny little step before the now that you labeled change that I think I made it too big. It's just a teeny little like nanosecond between the discovery and the now. So,
yeah. And that really is it. I mean, I'm trying to think here for anybody who's listening to this, what is it else that you're wanting to know? What, and I'm going to ask this to you, Daniela, but I'm thinking in your head for a moment as you're watching this content and thinking, well, how do you do this? But what about this part? Or I'm not getting that. That's okay. What you want to do then is you want to get back to your business coach. You want to contact your mentor and say, hey, help me connect the dots here. But tangibly, logically, let me put a bow on this and make it really simple. It really is about relating to that person. Your story is not about you. Your story is about the hope of what's possible, and it's about the evidence that other people have done this, and you're basically transferring that evidence in the story to other people. So if you have your own story, there's all kinds of evidence. You're wearing it. You've had this, before when I started Take Shape for Life, I had no clients. Nobody had lost weight, right? All I had as far as my story was a bunch of struggle of training lots of people and some of them getting healthy, a lot of them not, some of them getting healthy temporarily, but then going back to their old way, which wasn't health at all. It was just frustration, right? And that's my frustration. but I had no clients. I didn't make any money at this because I wasn't part of it. I had no success. So I took the leap of faith to look at who had gone before me and say, wait a minute, this person who wasn't even a qualified, certified, educated trainer or a mental emotional coach or nutritionist had just had a change in their life, and then they inspired thousands of people, and those people are still healthy and moving forward. That's evidence. I wanted some of that. Whatever that is, it's working. See, you can see the excitement again building back up.
Yeah.
So,
So, in terms of people that might listen to this in the future, is it okay if I add something that I find helpful? So one thing I just, it's kind of been an enlightenment for me, and so maybe it helps somebody else. This whole conversation was triggered because I sent you an email that said, I am stuck around this concept. I'm not moving past this really well. And you responded by saying, you know, let's meet, let's talk about it. So I just wanted to throw that out because there's no way for you to read my mind, you know, or anybody else's mentor to read their mind and know what they need. So just, you know, throwing the line out there, and your mentor will grab it and help you. So thank you, Alex.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I've learned to seek to understand more before trying to be understood. In the old days, I might have actually sent you a text back with answers, but I didn't have enough information. So I'm glad you brought that up. And your mentor coach, as Daniela is saying, really can help you, and go up to a person, get to their mentor. If they're not the expert at telling the story or how to help you with whatever the challenge is, then move up to that mentor in your line that is, and they're going to grab a hold of you because we care. We really want to help you succeed and move forward. So thank you, Daniela, for being on with this today. And I'm hoping this will help a lot of people. And by all means, I look forward to hearing from you all.
All right. Thank you, Alex.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. All right. So I wanted to just do a quick recording on how to embody another person's story and feel it so that you can help them refine their story. And one of the ways to do that is empathetic listening, cognitive empathy, getting in their mind as if you are them and feeling what they're feeling, and imagining. And you don't have to be in their exact situation, but you definitely want to pull from times where you felt feelings in a parallel way. Again, it could be a totally different situation, but the feeling is still mutual. Does that make sense? And so if you could just tell me some things about this particular coach that we're talking about. He was frustrated? I heard you say he was frustrated about really wanting to help people, but not really having a vehicle or tool to help them. Is that right?
Yes, yes. I mean, he works with a lot of people in fitness. He was frustrated with his own struggle in the past and was able to get beyond that, but he's not having that same success with helping other people move toward where they want to go.
So whatever he's been saying or trying to do isn't netting the result that he desires. That's definitely frustrating. I've been in that place before personally, where you're trying to do something, you're putting effort and energy out, and you're just, and this is the way it's come across for me, is it's, oh my goodness, if they would just do this, or why isn't this working, or is this taking too much time to get this done? And it's, you know, you're not getting the result you want. You put effort forward in the relationship, it's not netting out. So then it sounds like he was looking for some type of, he'd like to help people. Is there anything in particular I need to know about him, of what his why and what his desire is?
He's a very kind-hearted individual. My sense is that he really just wants a vehicle to really be able to help people, that he realizes what his pain was when he was younger and not in good shape and heavy, and he desires for other people not to need to feel that way.
All right, very good. So now he's digging back into a place of where he can emote and feel what it was that they were there. All right, so that's not a ton of information, and I know there's more questions that I could ask, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and embody this. And I'm not trying to get his story right. I'm going to do my version as if I was that person. What I would share as a new health coach with someone else, because I don't really have any clients to pull from. I don't have a weight loss story to pull from. I simply have a desire to help other people. And what I really have is the fact that I've looked into this organization, Take Shape for Life, and I've seen that this company is doing something and the transformations are real. and I want to be a part of that. Okay. So now I can basically go back and start to share that. For me, it really started off when I was a child and really not having a healthy lifestyle and feeling down on myself, feeling bad about the way I looked, and just really not able to just participate in the life that I really wanted. And finally, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take charge of my life. And I started getting into sports, and I started getting into athleticism, and I was having these breakthroughs. And now that I coach other people, I'm seeing that a lot of people are stuck. They are wanting to move forward in their life. They're not feeling the way they want to feel. But as I started to go forward and try and help them with nutrition or exercise, I'm finding that it's not sticking. All these recommendations, and what's happening is I'm putting all this time, and they're putting money, and we're putting all this relationship together. But then what's happening is life events are coming up. Something's distracting, and they're going right back to their old habits. It's not sticking. And for me, I needed to do something about that. So I decided to start looking around, and what I found was that this organization has basically trained people on how to not only get to their healthy weight, reduce inflammation in their body, and move towards a healthier, fit body, but how to stay there without all the on again, off again, yo-yo dieting types of things. And that excites me. So finally, I have now a tool and a vehicle to truly help people, give them the support they need. And that's why I'm deciding to move forward as a certified health coach. What is it you're looking for? And I can make that transition. I'm going to stop for just a moment because I know we've got a little bit of time we wanted to keep this. But Daniela, did you have any questions or comments just about that short version?
No, that's good. It helps me because I think I'm not sure the story is initially going to come naturally without me asking him some questions. And so listening to that, that's why I was writing down while you were talking. It triggered some questions in my head to ask him, to help him be able to formulate that story.
And what's great about his story is it's going to be more real to him than the version of it I made up, because he's going to have, and the key is, notice that story was like 1.5 minutes. That wasn't a long drawn out. 3 minutes or less is the key, to the length. But the real key is this story that you're telling relatable to the person in front of you? If you're just going on about you, but they don't relate to on again, off again, or the struggle, I use words to empathize that there are, I struggled. And I know a lot of people I've worked with have struggled. And finally, I'm going to do something about it. No more recommending diets. I didn't say this in my story, but I could have. No more recommending diets. No more recommending fitness programs without knowing the purpose and without knowing the right way to do it so it sticks. I'm helping people with transformation in lifestyle, not diets anymore. And that excites me. What are you looking for? Or do you relate to that? They're going to say, absolutely, I've done it. And then they're going to share their pain, their struggle, and they're going to say, so Kevin, tell me about this. So it's not really a diet, it's a lifestyle. How does that work? And then you can go into your what you want, why do you want it questions. And then if they qualify, kind of go into the how. All right, so I want to kind of wrap that one up and just say, this is kind of a segue to the last conversation we had. And if you haven't seen the other video on how to tell your story, you might want to reference back or respond back to me and ask me for that content so you can watch that. Do you have any last comments or questions, Daniela?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. Hey, no, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here with you.